talk about this specific term, delocalization. Okay, so first in this write up you'll have to write about the things that are pretty much visible and are economic in aspect. Okay, और ये कैसे कैसे इवॉल्व हुआ है, विल सी दैट, बिकॉज देयर कैन बी अ क्वेश्चन ऑन दिस थिंग, not exactly in the format that I have written, but based on this concept definitely you can find a question. Okay, so the globalization has resulted into delocalization of the industries, and delocalization is manufacturing industries being shifted to another areas because of any of the reasons. ठीक है, so this is, if you have to introduce, we can write that delocalization represents the shift of manufacturing industries delocalization represents the shift of manufacturing industries to another region or countries. ठीक है, if there is a general shift of industries from one region to another, then we can say that there is delocalization of the industries. And again, if we talk about delocalization, this is mostly by the manufacturing industries. अब manufacturing industries का है तो क्या होगा? Okay, mostly delocalization is due to maintain the profit margins. Okay, so the delocalization is happening around the globe. Around the globe for profit maximization. Okay, and this term was used by Losk. अगर आपको याद है, कल ही पढ़ा था हमने. Okay, so delocalization is happening around the globe for profit maximization as suggested by Losk, and also to discover least cost location. Okay, Weber, and also to discover the least cost location. Okay, least cost location for least cost location in search of resources, that is raw material, labor, and market. Okay, these are some of the things that you are aware from the theoretical perspective. You are very much aware from the theoretical perspective that this profit maximization, whenever there is a industry, उनका काम क्या है? They'll go for profit maximization. Okay, now you have given an idea what delocalization is. You have also given an idea कि what the theoretical perspective of this is, okay, you have already given. And now if you look at the question, you can easily see that it wants to know from the perspective of globalization. So of course this globalization has, the liberalization and globalization has given impetus to the process. जो ये delocalization process है इसको थोड़ा तेज कर दिया है, okay, hastened the process. This was not like before globalization this delocalization was not happening, that was not the case, but with this thing globalization the process was hastened, थोड़ा fast हो गया ये, okay. Now the with evolution of the economic and political system around the globe, with evolution of political and economic systems around the globe, globalization has influenced all the spheres, including the delocalization process. Okay, so globalization क्या कर रहा है, हर एक स्फेयर को इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है, और लाइफ स्टाइल एंड एवरीथिंग. बट the question is related to delocalization, so we'll be talking about that. So we have asserted that yeah, it is doing this thing, the globalization is actually doing this thing, okay. So here we can see that now the markets are more accessible, there is more information about the markets, and also the accessibility of the market has increased. Just a minute. Okay, due to this globalization process, okay, due to the globalization process it has become easier for the countries to reach another country, okay. So all the countries which were initially not allowing others to enter their countries, now with liberalization, globalization से साथ साथ liberalization भी हो रहा था, so it is also happening, okay. So now today, due to globalization, there is more information and access to markets, more information and access to markets, okay. This is a fact, okay. Due to globalization we have more access to regions, so the industries are moving to the countries, okay. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्रीज, हमने शुरू में ही लिख दिया मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, तो जरूरी नहीं कि हर बार बताएं, okay. So the manufacturing industries are moving to the countries where the labor laws are still not stringent. Okay, labor laws are still not in stringent. Abhi developed part of the world, you'll see that the labor laws are very strong. Okay, labor laws क्या है कि काफी strong है, तो it is very difficult for uh, the countries, companies or industries to make any profit. Okay, so this opinion was given by the Marxist. So we'll be writing Marxist opinion. यहाँ पे इसको हम मेंशन कर देंगे so that we are giving the theoretical perspective as well. Anybody who is checking your paper will know that you are aware that such an opinion related to delocalization or the shifting of the industries in order to save the money, okay, labor laws, ये Marxist opinion based है, okay. Marxists have given this thing, okay. So because of this thing, what we have seen that from less stringent labor laws, so developed part of the world से क्या हुआ है, okay, companies, if you talk about the USA, okay, or UK, यहाँ से क्या हुआ, okay, the companies started shifting to China, India, China और India आ गए, okay, because of the labor factor. And this is something that is very much visible, right? This is very much visible that आपका US, UK, okay, and these are all the more of it, okay, and we see that today because of this thing only, okay, some of the manufacturing, especially the textile, okay, if we talk about the textile manufacturing, it is shifting to Bangladesh, okay, or Vietnam, okay, and this is some phenomena which is not only visible from the developed part of the world to the developing countries, okay, this is something that is visible from developing to the developing countries as well, okay. आज की डेट में मेजर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, okay, जब मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्रीज हैड सोन इंटरेस्ट इन चाइना इन इंडिया, मेड इन चाइना मेड इन इंडिया वाला कॉन्सेप्ट जो है, इसकी वजह से ये पॉपुलर हुआ, ओके. एंड नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ the policies of the government, okay, the hard times also push the government to give some of the favors, ठीक है. अभी अगर हम देखते हैं कोविड वाले टाइम को ही, so many of the countries were facing a lot of difficulties. Today China is influencing a lot of countries, China is moving to many parts of the world, okay. यहां तक क्लियर है? I hope everybody is clear, okay. Now, with globalization, and consumer awareness, a lot of demand for Western products emerged in big markets big markets like China, India, which further gave push to delocalization process. Okay, ग्लोबलाइजेशन से क्या है, एक्सेसिबिलिटी बढ़ गई, प्लस कंज्यूमर इज मोर अवेयर दैट सम प्रोडक्ट इज बीइंग सोल्ड इन यूरोप or maybe US, that is a better product. Okay, so what happened? Apple or iPhone manufacturing in China. Okay, again many car manufacturers shifting to India and China. Okay, so this is also a result of the globalization process, where you have seen that the market in itself is dominating and influencing the companies to reach here. Labor laws एक factor है, but when you know that if you'll go to this market and people are willing to buy, when you know that the people are willing to buy, so you have economies of scale. You know that you'll be making a lot of money. Okay, and this has also given a push to the shift. Okay, also if we talk about the MNCs, the transnational companies, okay, they had big capacity, they are big companies, they are present in lot of countries, so they are generating a lot of money. तो उनके पास पैसा बहुत ज़्यादा है, वो रिस्क ले सकते हैं, कहीं नया जाके बना सकते हैं, ओके, और अपने प्रॉफिट मार्जिन्स को फ्यूचर के लिए छोड़ सकते हैं. So these people can risk it for a very long period of time, and hence you see that many of the companies, notwithstanding the market, notwithstanding the labor, they are willing to shift simply because they know at certain point in time they can dominate the local market. Okay, so in the era of globalization, the multinational companies, MNCs, and transnational companies, they are more or less both are same. TNCs and MNCs same type के हैं. Okay, TNCs, the multinational companies, MNCs, transnational companies are shifting to different locations around the world, as they have deep purse to take a risk. Okay, so in this era, many of the companies are aware. Okay, अगर हम क्या है, यूनिलीवर लिमिटेड, आई हैव टॉक्ड मेनी अ टाइम्स अबाउट दिस एग्जांपल ऑफ यूनिलीवर लिमिटेड. इट वेंट टू ऑल द कंट्री. यूके से क्या है, इट वेंट टू लॉट ऑफ कंट्रीज अराउंड द ग्लोब. ओके, simply because they knew that the markets today are ready, okay, for the new products if they are introduced in the places. तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स ही क्या है, वहां पे जाके डाल दो जहां अपना प्रोडक्ट बेचना है. ओके, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस MNCs, okay, one single company that is Unilever, अगर हम देखते हैं, okay, that was based in Europe, okay, but it has shifted bases to a lot of other countries. Okay, now you can draw a map and you can represent what is happening. Okay, so approximately this map, and you can talk about or represent some of the areas from where the companies are moving. Okay, and today the MNCs mostly from the European countries, they are like moving to newer places. Brazil, this is the same thing that is happening with. Okay, so let us this is MNCs, TNCs. Okay, for example, Unilever Limited from UK has presence in many countries around the globe. Okay, so this is something that is very interesting. Okay, so we can see that this thing is also happening, and it is added by the fact that when these MNCs are coming to these countries, they are making the markets more competitive. The globalization is making the markets more competitive, and the markets are emerging, and which is leading to more income to the areas where they are reaching. एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट आया तो क्या है, कंज्यूमर्स भी तो बढ़े. ओके, सो when these MNCs, TNCs started taking the benefit of globalization process, they created newer markets. They created newer markets. Okay, they have created newer markets which has resulted into more employment, which has resulted into more employment. क्या है, कोई भी फैक्ट्री कहीं जाके लगती है, ओके, यहां से आके यहां आई, इट विल गिव एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू दीज पीपल. उनकी इनकम क्या है, अपने आप बढ़ जा रही है. ओके, फ्रॉम देयर दे आर मूविंग टू अदर कंट्रीज. अगेन द इनकम ऑफ दीज आर इंक्रीजिंग, अपने आप ही क्या है, एंड आई ऑलवेज से यू नीड टू लेवल द डायग्राम्स, ओके, आपको क्या करना है, यू ऑलवेज हैव टू level the diagrams, if not all, at least some of them, okay, हमेशा कोशिश कीजिए कि डायग्राम्स की लेवलिंग करें, सारा नहीं कर सकते हैं तब भी some of them you must, okay. So the markets which are has resulted into more employment, ठीक है, more employment and the consumers have more disposable income, the consumers have more disposable income, okay. So when the consumers have more disposable income, इसका क्या मतलब है, okay, so the behavior of the people will change, okay, hence there will be a push towards consumerism, okay, hence there will be a push towards consumerism as suggested by behavioral geography, as suggested by behavioralism, ठीक है, आप behavioralism is a theory that you read in perspective of geography, okay. So this is something which is explained by the behavioralistic thing, okay. So now as the consumerism is increasing, okay, there will be a push towards consumerism as suggested by behavioralism, hence more and more industries are attracted to these countries, okay, and this is what you can see happening in India and China, okay. Again, for example, after LPG reforms, the number of manufacturing industries in India kept on increasing, ठीक है, एक साइक्लिकल प्रोसेस बन जाता है, ओके, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री, jobs, more income, more disposable income, okay, more spending potential, more demand for goods, okay. So is a new manufacturing industry, okay, more demand for goods, it again attracts new manufacturing industry. Okay, more demand for goods means new market is being generated. Okay, so this process, the whole process becomes cyclical in nature. अब क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? The globalization has done this thing. Okay, and all of it happened because of globalization. Will present like this. Okay, only globalization is not the reason, but the question wants us to tell this thing. So ultimately we have to move forward in this way and will show that this is the thing that is happening. ठीक है, आज की डेट में ग्लोबलाइजेशन ने ये किया है. सही, अब क्या है, और कंपनियां आ रही हैं, और चीजें हो रही हैं. सो दिस इज समथिंग that has become a norm. Okay, and this process shall continue. अब conclusion में आप क्या रख सकते हैं कि this is something that is happening for the centuries. Okay, and after your this process, okay, after your COVID event, if you see, okay, for a little period of time we saw that the movements have stopped, but again you saw that Tesla wanted to come to India. Okay, so the globalization has actually, okay, the globalization has actually ensured, okay, the globalization process has ensured that this delocalization phenomena is going to remain. Finally, you can conclude the globalization process has ensured that the delocalization process will be more visible in the coming years. Will be more visible in coming years. As the world has already experienced. As the world has already experienced that even COVID-19 pandemic couldn't stop it from happening. Okay, so this is something that you can conclude. Okay, and concluding remarks can be always given. Okay, so you can, and it is not like कि हमेशा concluding remark के बाद कुछ नहीं लिखेंगे खत्म हो जाता है. Okay, if you want, you have an example. आप इतना concluding remark लिखने के बाद भी you can talk about maybe, for example, अभी Tesla interested in delocalization. Okay, so पहले इसने चाइना में किया था, now wants to shift to India. Okay, so you can show something like this. Okay, so you can always better your answers with some of the contemporary things that are happening. Okay, वो अलग बात है कि टेस्ला क्या है कि फाइनली convinced नहीं हो पाई, but you'll see that they'll come to India. It cannot leave India because China is no more the biggest market of the world, neither it will remain, okay, because its growth rate is only around 1.6, माने negative है. Down the line 5-10 years, burden of old people is going to be so huge that disposable income China में बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं रहने वाला है, okay. So that market has already shrinked because older people living for a long period, तो ऐसे ही नहीं रहने वाला है. तो India is going to be the market of for next 30-40 years. India है, then Africa आएगा, okay. So you can write something like this and you can expect that you'll get a very good marks, and this is some question. इतना लिखने का मतलब है कि ये 20 नंबर का क्वेश्चन कम से कम होगा, then and then only you will be able to write, okay. And I have also tried to show you how to write a regular answer with diagrams, flow diagrams, thinkers. हमने हर चीज यूज किया है, ठीक है. So a organic flow has been maintained in the answer in order to ensure that whoever is reading, okay, the examiner will know that you have a proper understanding of the things which is happening at this point in time, ठीक है. अब यही क्वेश्चन क्या है कि डीलोकलाइजेशन बिकॉज ऑफ पेंडेमिक लिख दे, डीलोकलाइजेशन बिकॉज ऑफ लिबरलाइजेशन लिख दे, डीलोकलाइजेशन बिकॉज ऑफ प्राइवेटाइजेशन लिख दे. द सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग, राइट. पेंडेमिक में क्या हुआ, पहले लगा कि नहीं आएंगे, अब लोग बोर हो गए हैं, अब बाहर ज़्यादा निकल रहे हैं, शॉपिंग ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं. पेंडेमिक के बाद अचानक क्या है, शॉपिंग बढ़ गई थी लोगों की, ठीक है. बिकॉज ऑफ द रेसेजन ऑफ कोर्स थोड़ा कम हुआ है फिर से. रेसेजन नॉट इन इंडिया, रेसेजन लाइक साइंस इन यूएस, जापान, तो उससे थोड़ा कम हुआ है. बट अगेन यू विल सी दैट दिस फेनोमेना विल कंटिन्यू. अगर पेंडेमिक नहीं रोक पाया तो कुछ भी नहीं रोक पाएगा. दिस इज क्लियर, ओके. सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई वांटेड